Welcome to Horseshoe Politics. Today, September 16th, 2020, and I will be talking about what impact I think that the recently leaked audio clip of Trump talking about how he intentionally downplayed the COVID-19 crisis, what impact I think that'll have overall on the 2020 presidential election. Now, most of you have probably heard about the leaked audio clips that Bob Woodward leaked a few days ago. If you haven't heard about that yet, basically, Bob Woodward, now this is a guy that was responsible for reporting on the impeachment crisis all the way back in the 1970s, but basically, he did a series of talks with Trump from earlier this year, starting from like February of 2020 to like July of 2020 this year. And throughout all those months, he asked Trump many different questions and recorded his answers to those questions each time. And some of the things that he recorded of Trump were actually pretty revealing, and some of those things are what got leaked recently by him. And apparently, the reason why he didn't leak those audio clips at the time he recorded them was because he was waiting to release his new book, and he's getting a lot of controversy for that. He's getting a lot of heat on, especially online from that. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, he should have just released it right when he first recorded the clip instead of waiting until several months after the pandemic began to release those audio clips." But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm not here to talk about whether or not uh, he was justified, Bob Woodward, whether or not he was justified in waiting a few months until he released his book to release the audio clips. I'm just here to talk about what impacts I think those audio clips getting released, what impacts I think that'll have on Trump and his re-election chances. So I think I'm just gonna say this right off the bat. I don't think it's gonna have that much of an impact at all on the 2020 presidential race, and there's a couple reasons for that. So one of the reasons why I think that's the case is because we live in a really polarized environment, and what that means is that even if you have like a really groundbreaking clip like that, you're not gonna have many people switch sides either way. Like even if it was the other way around, like if it was like Joe Biden getting a revealing clip leaked, even then, I don't think many people would switch sides either. But in this case, it was Trump's who got Trump's audio who got leaked, and I don't think very many people at all are going to switch sides at all. The people who already supported Trump before this audio leak took place, they're most likely going to continue supporting Trump even after this clip because they're just that devoted to him. I think this applies more with Trump than with Biden, especially because Trump, what sets him apart from Biden is that Trump has a really committed base. Like, that's one of his disadvantages because he's it's hard for him to reach out to other voting blocks, but his base is not going to leave him no matter what, and that helps him because he can depend on 30 to 40% of the country to vote for him no matter what he says or what he does, and that'll help him, but that'll also hurt him because if he only appeals to his base, he's going to lose the election. 30 to 40% is not enough to win an election. You need 52% ish, but that base, that 40% base, is not going to leave him no matter what. So a lot of people that already didn't support Trump, because Biden's been up in the polls by several points in the past few months, so Trump was already not doing that well. So I don't think this audio leak will make too much of a difference. I don't think it'll make things much worse for him, because most of the people that would have turned sides from hearing that clip, they've already switched sides to Biden. But the second reason why I think that this is not going to have a big impact on the 2020 presidential election race in the end, maybe in the short term the poll numbers drop a bit, but by election day I don't think it'll have a big impact. And the second reason for this is because we have history to go off of. This A really similar incident happened 4 years ago in the 2016 election to what happened just now in 2020. Most of you guys probably remember hearing about this clip back during the 2016 election, or at least you've heard about it sometime before now. Basically, this one clip got released around a month before the 2016 election, sometime in around October of 2016. This was a leaked video footage from 2005 where Trump was caught on camera saying pretty demeaning things about women. I'm not going to quote exactly what he said in this video. I don't think that's a good idea. But if you want to know what he said, you can just look that up. It was trending all over the news for several days. Everybody thought that that clip would be it for him. They thought that was a campaign killer for him. They thought the election was over, Clinton won. And that's what it kind of looked like in the polls at first. If you look at this picture that's on screen right now, you'll see that around mid-October, early to mid-October, Trump had a sharp drop in the polls by several points. And that was almost certainly due to the leaked video clip of him from 2005, a lot of people got a really negative impression of him from that clip. They thought, oh, he doesn't respect women. I don't think he's going to be a good leader for this country. A lot of people got that impression from that video clip, and he dropped several points in the polls, but that was only temporary because right before the actual election took place, Trump went right back up to where he was before the leaked video clip happened. So that's why I'm saying that I don't think the leaked audio clip of him downplaying COVID-19, I don't think that's going to really have a big impact on the 2020 presidential election results. Just looking from history, because 2016, this was just a month, not even a month before the election, and this was a pretty big deal because the things he said, I'm going to be honest, were really messed up. The things he said on camera, I'm not going to quote him on this video, but if you want to look up what he said, you feel free to do that. Basically, he was able to win the election despite that video clip. And despite the audio clips that Bob Woodward leaked, Trump might still be able to win this election. Now, no question, Biden definitely has a better chance. I've talked about this many times on this channel, but Trump still could win this election. 538.com it's a really popular polling site. They basically look at all the different polls and based on that calculate the chance of Trump winning and the chance of Biden winning, and they give Trump a 30% chance of winning the 2020 presidential election. That's exactly what they gave him back in 2016. See, a lot of people in 2016 they gave Trump like a 1 to 5% chance of winning, which was way far off. But 538 was a lot closer to the actual reality because they gave Trump a 30% chance, which is still less than 50%. Clinton still had a better chance of winning, no question about it. It was kind of a miracle that Trump won this election, but he was able to flip those three swing states I talked about in yesterday's video. But he had a 30% chance of winning according to 538.com, which was a lot higher than other websites were giving him. So he was still able to pull off a victory in that election. But I honestly think that Trump has a worse chance of winning the 2020 election than the 2016 election. 2016 there was no COVID-19. 2016 there was no economic catastrophe. 2016 there wasn't as much social unrest. All those factors I think are mostly going to play negatively towards Trump. But the other thing is that the debates have not happened yet. The 2020 presidential debates. There's three of them set to occur plus one vice presidential debate. The first one's on September 29th. You guys should definitely tune in to watch that. The host, as of now, is Chris Wallace. I forgot exactly what channel it's on. I'm assuming it would be on Fox if Chris Wallace is the host, but I don't know for sure. But you guys should tune into that. I think it would be... That's the first time that Biden and Trump will directly confront each other in a one-on-one debate. So I think it'll be really interesting to watch. But I'm not exactly sure who'd win those debates because I think the debates actually helped Trump back in 2016. And it seems like a lot of people think that the debates would help Trump more than Biden in 2020 based on what everybody's been talking about. At the same time, the debates are really unpredictable. You never know what happens in them. Trump could be thrown a curveball question and he completely screws it up. Biden could be thrown a curveball question, he completely screws that up. But it'll be an interesting sight to watch. Just Trump, Biden going directly at it with each other. And there's three of these debates, plus one vice presidential debate, Mike Pence versus Kamala Harris. That'll also be really interesting to watch. I've seen all the debates with Kamala Harris in the Democratic primaries, but it would be interesting to see how she goes up in a direct debate against the Republican candidate. But long story short, the big reasons why I don't think this audio clip leakage is going to affect Trump's re-election chances much is one, we have history to look at. This didn't happen in 2016. And two, we live in a polarized environment. Most people don't switch sides at all, even when the most drastic, damaging evidence against a candidate comes out. A lot of people still stick with that candidate just because that's how polarized things are in this day and age. That's one of the reasons why I'm so afraid of this election's result not coming out for a few weeks. Just that few weeks between the original election day and the final results being decided, if that time period lasts for too long, that's going to build up so much tension in this country. It's going to not be pretty. It's not going to be a pretty sight at all. I really hope they figure out the mail-in ballot dilemma. I hope they can figure out a way to count the mail-in ballots up quickly, because a lot of people are going to be sending in mail-in ballots, and it's obvious why. The pandemic's not gone yet. It's still there. It's probably going to be there for like another year maybe. That's probably when the vaccine will be available to the public. But there's definitely going to be a lot of mail-in ballots this election, so that could really skew the original election day results versus the final results. So I'm hoping that there isn't that much tension that builds up during that time period, but I'm probably wrong about that, as much as I hate to say it. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I hope I gave some insight on why I don't think this is actually that damaging for Trump compared to how he's doing right now. But I hope you tune in for tomorrow's video of September 17th. See you then.